Please use the chat. Like, how do you react to it? Do you respond to it? Do you react to it? Does it make you feel fearful? Are you high on emotions? What exactly happens when you hear this word, suicide? Fearful, despite association, which it could have turned out differently. Right. Negative emotion. So Ashok says negative emotion and Pushpa says fearful, worried. High will manage on emotions initially later. Okay. So we are looking at feel anxious, I wish I could talk and help them. Helpless. Risk in life. So so I would like to bring about this topic. There is something called a death instinct or a death urge. According to Freud, you would have seen this also. Thanatos, as they call it. Unable to concentrate. Okay, Cheruvir says that. Understand their emotions, difficulty to handle. Yes. So if you're a psychologist, so you may be receiving such messages at round the clock, like, ma'am or sir, I'm going to cut myself, I'm going to jump off from here, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's happened with me. I think it would have happened with you too, being therapists, right? So when you get that message or a call, what do you do? Do you panic? What do you do at that time? Do you try to, talk to them logically, or what do you try to, what's the first thing? You tell them to contact a helpline, or you try to talk to them and try to reach somebody, because you do not know who's calling you, so you may not have their details. So what do you do to help them immediately? Do you talk logic? What do you try to talk to them? Swarna says, try to talk to them. Swarna, talk what? Continue chatting. Yeah, I want to know the content. Like, what would you talk with them? Will you have a conversation, or will you try to buy time? Comfort zone. I try to talk very empathetic, show empathy, and will involve in active listening. Buy time. Okay. Buy time. So when you buy time, so you do understand that that particular time has to be constructive, right? Buying time and not doing anything will put you in fight flight. Your panic and your yes, yes. Okay. I was glad to help a woman in my colony. I showed empathetic and talked to her. So you do understand that suicide is something which is a very bold act carried out in a very weak moment. It's a very bold act because I don't know how many people who can actually do that, no matter what you're going through in your life. Everybody has got problems in their life. There is no problem-free life. You all agree with me? There is not one person who has got, even Chiranjeevi has got problems, Modi ji has got problems, everybody has got problems. But not everybody will resort to this as one of the solutions that they feel. So how many of you have spoken to people who are actively suicidal, who have attempted many times, and I told you that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it? Have you tried to ask them like why they want to do it when they were not in the active phase, when they're passively thinking about it? Have you tried to talk to them? Okay, anybody who's spoken to them, can you please put it in the message? Like, what did they tell you? Lata says yes. Swarna says no. Somashekar, Ashok Reddy says yes. So could you please put it down? Like, what did they say? Parthasarthi Ghosh says, what did they say as to why they wanted to do it? So they say they can't handle the situation, right? So depression also means separation. Depression, separation. And when you talk about separation, it is isolation. And when it is isolation, it means you're alone. And alone, and there is no plan. There is drama, there is isolation, and no plan. And when this goes on for a long time, the death instinct, it wins, and they can't understand what to do. See, they would have tried to talk to family, tried to talk to friends, but see, they would have got solutions which they may not have been able to carry out. So if a lady goes and says, my husband is beating me, they might say, leave him or do meditation, do something. But if that beating and whatever is continuing, then these solutions will not work. And after a point of time, when she sees no hope in it, then the death instinct, which is there in everybody, that will play out in some people. So, can we say some people are predisposed towards it? That the quality of resilience is not very active in them. Can we say that? Because we just said there is no problem free life. It means we have to give in, take rest, and again get back to findings. If there is no solution, then coping mechanisms. So let me share that I have spoken with people who were actively suicidal, and what I found out was that they didn't wish to die. Rather, they did not know how to live with the problems that they had. I repeat, it is not that they wished to die, they did not know how to live with the problems they had. It is not like the opposite of night is day. The opposite of life is not death. So when they do not know how to live with their problems, it is relationship, whether it is trauma, whether it is an illness, or whether it is financial issues, or whatever it is, then we can say that they were not able to receive the help that was offered to them. Somebody would have tried to help, not knowing exactly how to help them because the communication may not have been clear, right? So, suggesting appreciate solution, Cheruvir. Some people look oversensitive. See, people who are oversensitive are people who have got many chips activated. So that's a very good thing, actually, Patsat. We will be talking about it. See, there is no parenting which is perfect. You all agree with me? None of us had perfect parents. Now, we are not calling anybody good or bad in therapy. We never talk about good and bad. We only talk about functional and dysfunctional. That's it. Only these two parameters. So when we do not have any perfect parenting, and we are not perfect parents to our kids too. Let's be very honest over there, because everybody has got their own problems. So even if you have been very functional, you may not have been present in your children's lives all the time, because you would have been occupied with finances, relationship issues, or something or the other, loans or something, illness. So then, whatever chips are activated during the early age, for example, like neglect or financial issues, illness, parental trouble, marital issues, things like abandonment, name calling, insults in school, or whatever you call it, these are chips which lead to low self esteem, low self worth, and feelings of worthlessness. And then they grow up with that, which people will activate. Society, your teachers, your partners, your neighbors, they will activate it. And the sensitive people, they will react more than the others. Now, when they're sensitive, it means they've just been over the edge a little bit more. And there are very many people who are sensitive, who are bullied every day in offices, schools, in marriages, and everywhere, wherever you see. So that means authoritative is better than authoritarian. I will not say the authoritative is better. It's the same thing actually. I believe there is no particular parenting style. Each child is different, and Gen Z and Gen Alpha, I don't think they go by our earlier parenting model. I think it is better to maintain ethics and dysfunctionality, to have an authentic, you know, uh, kind of a connection with your child. Now, talking about codependency, which is the world's biggest problem, we as parents want to raise children who are good people. How many of you present here want to be known as a nice person, good person? Manchi vallu, achhe log. How many of you? Raise your hands. I want to see those hands on the screen. I want to see those hands. How many of you want to be known as a nice person, good person, achhe log? Responsible person, okay. Good human. So, Amreen, what is a good human, Amreen? Who is a good human? Can you please put it here? Who is a good human?
According to me, good human is in terms of thing, being empathic, being sympathetic. Whatever we are talking, it should be measurable amount. If whatever words are coming out of our mouth, it should not hurt the other person. That parameter we should have in between whenever we are communicating with any people around us, or whatever the circumstances or whatever scenario it could be, but then we have to be very manageable.
Amreen, I'm sorry to say you've taken too much of responsibility on yourself. You have no control over how others will take whatever, no matter how you speak. If you say good morning in that tone, they're having a bad day, they'll think that you're being rude to them. You never know what other person people are going
Exactly,
through, right?
exactly.
You cannot take the responsibility of not hurting other people. This is one of the traits of codependency, like wanting to make other people comfortable.
Okay.
Now, if you raise your children and your family to be obedient, kind, helpful, love everybody, love your neighbors, and give your last chapati to people you serve because we are kind and helpful people, then I don't think that child will last long in the society because he'll be bullied like crazy and manipulated. I think it is more important for families to be authentic and not good, bad, or ugly. Now, who will define the meaning of being authentic? I'm sure we've heard of this word, being authentic, right? Authenticity, as they call it.
Genuine and not being fake and not pressurizing us to be good, or if it is not at all, it's not a time to be good, but still we are pretending. We should not pretend at the moment. We have to be genuine. Whatever we are, we have to be like transparent.
Authenticity is about knowing who you are, your likes, dislikes. You need to have your boundaries, like which I always say in my sessions. This is what is codependency. Everybody in one circle, mother, father, uncle, somebody selling tea, coffee, everybody in one circle. It becomes too much. This is how you need to live your life with boundaries. That is authenticity, not taking responsibility for how other people will react to your boundaries. How many of you are the 2 a.m. friends over here? Anybody calls you 2 a.m., you pick up their calls, but nobody picks up your call. You're afraid to ask for help. If you're giving and not receiving, then you're not raising people the right way in your family. Authenticity is about being assertive and not passive aggressive, putting forth your request very, very firmly but politely, being assertive, and being able to say no without worrying about how the other person will take it. We're talking about suicide, we're talking about people reaching that stage where they really want to end it all, then somewhere there is something which has gone wrong in upbringing. Somewhere there is something which has gone wrong in the upbringing. You were too busy raising a child or a family member who's very, very good, kind, and to be able to fit into society, get good marks, work properly, marry in the right family, earn this, buy that car, do this, help everybody, do annadanam. Do if you do all these things, people will accept you. But according to me, helping is something which people have to be eligible to receive your help. For example, if I am absolutely fine, but I want to go to a party and I tell my colleague, can you please do my work? I have to go home. And they're doing my work, but I am out having in the party. That's not right. Kalyani says, saying no is difficult for me. I have to be assertive. If Kalyani, if you cannot say no, it means it is one of the traits of codependency, where you're afraid to offend people because you're afraid to lose people. You're afraid that they'll go away if you say no. People will react, they'll respond, or you might lose some people. But when you put your boundaries, if people go, it is good for you. आपके लिए और अच्छा है if they go. Because there is no point in traveling with a house full with only two people who are there for you. Even in a family, when men are going through their own financial troubles, women are overburdened with household responsibilities. The support they receive is extremely, very, very, I would say, inefficient. Because they're trying to motivate people, motivational talks. Come on, you can do it. Come on, you can do it. They also know they should do it. Every child knows he or she is supposed to go and do well in school. Do well is not get 90%, but whatever, to their best. But if it is not happening, if they are becoming dejected and going down into the quicksand, it means somewhere the boundaries are not clear. If I talk to Kalyani, if I ask you that please do your best and do your optimal best, can you please define it for me? What is the meaning of optimal best? What is the meaning of do your best? Professionally, personally, anyway. Anybody here who can tell me what is the meaning of do your best? And do your best makes you feel neutral, pleasant, or unpleasant. How does it make you feel? Which emotion is stronger? Neutral, pleasant, or unpleasant?
Unpleasant.
Unpleasant. Most of the time, unpleasant.
Thank you so much. Could you please tell me why it makes you feel unpleasant?
So we try to be perfectionist in all the ways. We try to do our best, but somewhere, we can't convince people for the work we do. So when we can't convince, any feedback that we receive in this process wouldn't be taken positively. So it will create a rupture within us. So we'll not be feeling good about it. That's how I can say.
Thank you so much for that, Pratima.
Yeah.
So, what I tell people who come to me is that when they say do your best, you need to define it today for this particular task. Do your best, not for a lifetime. If I tell you do your best, I would think about the lifetime, like I have to do this all the time. The pressure to get 99%. Okay, once you got 98%, good, God bless everybody. But doesn't mean that every time you have to get 98. But when they expect that, or you build an inner critic saying that I have to get that, I don't think there'll be many dropouts. I have many people who have dropped out. Not because other people told them, because they took the appreciation very seriously. So when you talk about optimal best, it is not a lifetime achievement award that you have to perform, and that's what will make you a perfectionist and also make you procrastinate, because the pressure is unbearable. Because if you're a codependent who's a perfectionist, for a half an hour task, you will take 2 hours. You will put this point, that point, that diagram, this thing, that thing. It becomes overwhelming. It has to be perfect, right? Is that one of the reasons why you feel unpleasant?
True.
Then that means you're not defining. In families, we do not define clearly what is the meaning of optimal best. It means for this exam, for this cooking, for that outing, for this particular, this is your best that you can do. It is not an endless pit or Akshay Patra will look down, there's no end down. So when I tell you, if you define it, that I'm going to spend half an hour on this particular thing, and whatever comes, however I finish it, I'm satisfied with it, because there are more number of things coming forward, more projects and more activities. Does that sound more, I would say, peaceful, at least neutral? Did you understand that? What I just said? Practice makes a man perfect. Practice will make a man perfect till he will not come back home, Kalyani. He or she will sit there. I remember in my college days, in the graduation, for a 1 mark exam, I would write 10 lines and put a diagram, and they would tell me that I would get only 1 mark, but I would make time for it. My answer sheets were so fat, everybody else's was so thin. Why? Because I knew it, right? They had 5 points, I had 20 points. But it is good if but you should know where to use it. So when I'm talking about optimal best, you need to know how to use it, how much to use it, and not go to the boom bust cycle. Boom, like overdo it, bust. You're lying low for a long time, 2 months, no creativity, nobody sings a song, no act of creation is coming out. So that burnout is a boom bust cycle. Boom, like you overdo it, and then you will go down into the bust cycle, wherein you're absolutely in that lying low phase, like I can't do it. And the more number of times you have boom bust, boom bust, boom bust, also, like people call it mood swings, or you call it bipolar, you call it anything, then going forward you will definitely get into, from ventral vagal, you'll get into fight flight, and then get into dorsal vagal, which is again isolation, the back side of your body where you're against the people. Like this is ventral vagal, the front part of it, and this is dorsal vagal, the back part. Your back is to the family and the world. Dr. Hima Bindu, doing things consciously, putting full effort, will perform the work with love at the end of activity. Should have feeling. I don't think you can perform all activities with love, Dr. Hima Bindu. Women who cook 3 times in a day, I don't think they cook all meals with love. I think we are putting too much of pressure on people. Every man who goes to work every day, I don't think they do it out of love every day. It is not possible, at least not to that, not the charge, like the charge of the phone. A moment. Sorry about that. Yeah. So I think we should not put so much pressure that you have to be loving and kind. So even if you're irritated, you finish the work. I think we should be authentic and just say that today I made the food, but I'm not at my best. I am irritated. That will give the families to actually speak what they feel. Who agrees with me?
I do agree, ma'am.
All right. Just give me one moment. Yes, sorry about that. I had a call. Okay, will perform perfection is a complicated and approximate idea. I don't know what that means. Patsasi goes that perfection is a complicated and approximate idea. The only reason, a big reason why you become a perfectionist is that when you stop defining any outcome for one particular activity, look at it as a lifetime achievement thing, then anybody will be overwhelmed. Like if I have to draw a painting for an exhibition, and if I am supposed to give my best, but I have not been told what is my best, so I will look at 100 paintings and think of how I should paint 100 paintings and not one. And I'll try to push it to tomorrow, day after, and and then I'll become a perfectionist and also somebody who procrastinates. Because it's not a lifetime thing. It's one exam, one cooking thing, and one activity. I would say take it one task at a time to come out of perfectionism, or that will lead to also less procrastination. खुशी के लिए नहीं, खुश होकर काम करना. That attitude I want rather than I have to mandate. ये खुश होकर काम करना, राजलक्ष्मी जी, ये बार बार नहीं हो पाता है, क्योंकि हम लोग इंसान हैं, और इंसान को अगर अनकंडीशनल लव अगर आपको वहां से ऑपरेट करना है, तो यू हैव टू बी ऑपरेटिंग फ्रॉम द फोर्थ चक्रा. अगर आपको चक्रा सिस्टम पता है, लाइक द चक्रास दैट वी हैव, the lower chakras are absolutely of attachment. They create congestion and illnesses if they are not balanced, and the upper chakras are, vertical, like how you breathe, and they improve the circulation, giving you health. तो आप जो कह रही हैं उसके लिए you have to be a very highly evolved person, okay, who can actually take whatever happens, with a pinch of salt and not get attached to it, कि ये मेरे साथ ये हुआ, मेरे साथ वो हुआ, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए था. For that you have to really, operate from the higher chakras, जो इतना आसान नहीं है. अगर आपने डेविड हॉकिंस के बुक्स पढ़े होंगे, तो यू वुड हैव सीन द मैप्स ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस, वेर यू कैन एक्चुअली सी द स्कोर्स. एंड 200 से ऊपर आपको, यू हैव टू हैव अ स्कोर to be able to have a good enough day. So those of you who have not read his work, you should go and get a good book called Maps of Consciousness by David Hawkins, which will actually explain all of these things that I'm talking to you, most of these things in a very clear manner. Only then can you have unconditional love and acceptance, no matter what happens. And from that point of view, you don't take things very, you don't, attach yourself to things.
एक्सक्यूज मी मैम.
Yeah.
मैम क्या अगर हम कभी कभार किसी के वजह से कुछ काम कर रहे हैं और वो एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर रहे. हेलो.
Sorry.
हाँ
Yeah,
मैडम.
कहिए.
एक्चुअली मैं क्या सोच रही हूँ, मैं किसी के लिए कुछ काम करती हूँ, तो वो पर्सन एक्सेप्ट करता है एंड ही फील्स हैप्पी और शी फील्स हैप्पी, बट एट टाइम्स something might go wrong and then that person says something, it will hurt us.
Why should it
तो
hurt you?
कुछ देर के लिए हर्ट क्यों होता बोले तो देखो, मैंने उनके लिए किया था लेकिन उन्होंने ऐसे रॉन्ग किया मुझे. आई ट्राइड, अच्छा नेक्स्ट टाइम मैं और अच्छा करूंगी, ऐसे सोच के रहना भी तो ठीक है ना?
नहीं तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं. अरे देखिए, अगर मैंने बैगन की सब्जी बनाई है और आज
हाँ.
किसी को पसंद आई है, कल पसंद नहीं आई, तो मतलब कसूर बैगन का और आपका नहीं है, उनका मूड पे है, उनके लाइफ में क्या हो रहा है उस पे है. आप अपने पे क्यों ले रही हैं?
नहीं नहीं लेना ऐसे नहीं, अगर बैंगन का नहीं, दूसरा कुछ और चीज में भी अगर कोई हमें कुछ कमेंट कर दिया, तो उसको हम बहुत दिन तक दिल में न रख के, थोड़ा देर के लिए तो इंसान है तो कैसे भी वो होगा ना थोड़ा फीलिंग।
तो वो आपको उसमें आपको क्या करना है, मैंने अभी बताया था कि
हाँ
ये सारे चिप्स आपके बचपन में ही इंस्टॉल किए जाते हैं थ्रू सोसाइटी, पेरेंट्स, ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स,
हाँ
नेबर्स, स्कूल। उसको
हाँ
लोग उसको कौन एक्टिवेट करता है? पार्टनर। पार्टनर विल एक्टिवेट ऑल योर चिप्स लाइक क्रेजी। तो
ओके
तब आपको देखना है कि आपको जो ये फीलिंग्स आ रहा है, ये हर्ट का, एंगर है, शेम है, डिस्पेयर है, सैडनेस है, यू हैव टू डिफाइन इट कि विच पार्ट ऑफ द बॉडी आर यू फीलिंग इट. Okay,
ओके
what exactly are you thinking and where is the origin of this?
ओके
It is
ओके
not bad. They are people who are teaching you how to, evolve and how to elevate from the lower chakras to the higher chakras.
ओके ओके ओके
Because if you
गॉट
start looking at, because dunya mein, there are many people who will ruffle the feathers of people who already have those chips, na?
या
So it means people who irritate you means you're already irritable,
या
right?
हाँ
And
लेकिन इंसान है तो थोड़ा थोड़ा तो बनता है ना, लाइक थोड़ा देर इरिटेट हो जाएंगे, फिर बाद में चलो ऐसे ही है छोड़ देंगे।
नहीं, इरिटेट हो रहा है तो you should take a journal and write कि what are the emotions you are getting. Is it anger? Is it sadness? You want to
हाँ
do something to them? Do you want to threaten him that I will go away? Or do you want to
नो नो नो,
do some
आई
blackmail
वांट
at a
टू
pinch?
एक्सप्लेन देम। कभी भी कुछ हो जाता है तो आई थिंक दे शुड नो द एक्सप्लेनेशन व्हाट हैपन, क्यों हुआ। मैंने ऐसे नहीं, ऐसे समझाना मुझे अच्छा लगता है, उनसे पैचअप करना अच्छा लगता है मुझे। म- मतलब जैसे आपने बोला था कि लोगों को, लोग बिछड़ जाएंगे इसका डर है, डर वो नहीं है, डर है कि कहाँ लोग प्यार करना छोड़ देंगे और दुनिया बहुत ऐसे हो जाएगा, वैसे है बस और कुछ नहीं।
अगर आप फोर्थ चक्रा में होती तो
हम्म
ये सवाल आपका होता ही नहीं. I'll tell you why.
हम्म
Because if
या
you are
Madam,
on,
one question.
yes,
One question, madam.
yes.
Sometimes we are feeling that other person is unnecessarily irritating me,
Yes.
unnecessarily riding over me, bullying me.
Hmm.
So that feeling comes, that time suddenly we feel that sometime or other we should also respond, we should also react. Then only we can subdue them. That
You
feeling comes. We are not
Yes,
able
yes.
to come
You
out of it.
should put your boundaries. See, you should put assertive. If somebody is not behaving right with you, put your boundaries. Just say that this is not. You can put your boundaries. See, you don't be passive, bottling, and bursting, aggressive. जो इंसान bottle करता रहता है वो burst होगा ही, वो bottle एकदम महाभारत हो जाएगा, right? तो आपको you should put your boundaries. आप बोलिए कि this is not topic which I want to talk about. Kindly don't use these things. Can we talk about something else? Or can you, not ask such personal questions? आपको जिस तरह से चाहिए, यू हैव द राइट टू पुट योर बाउंड्रीज. लेकिन अगर बार बार हो रहा है, मतलब उस इंसान को आपके बाउंड्रीज वो एक्सेप्ट नहीं करना चाहता या फिर समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. और अगर वो आपके घर वाले हैं तो आप उनको बाहर भी नहीं निकाल सकते, आप भी जा नहीं सकते. Then what you should do, you should see that they are trying to teach you to work on your buttons which are activated. अगर आपने 1980s के मूवीज देखे हैं तो प्राण और प्रेम चोपड़ा के बाहर सब रेड बटन होता था, वो प्रेस करते बर्स्ट हो जाते थे. बॉम्ब्स ऑन द हीरो एंड ऑल लगाते थे ना, लाइक डैनी एंड ऑल. पीपल फ्रॉम द 1980s हिंदी मूवीज, यू हैव सीन इट. तो वैसे ही people know that you can be easily irritated, right? So they are going to do the things that will actually make you feel that way and say you're sensitive. And you will be sensitive till the time you deactivate those chips by working on it. Like, why am I angry? Why are they pushing my buttons? What is it, the quality in me? Why is it making me mad? Why am I angry about it? अगर किसी ने बोल दिया कि
There's a manual to go by it. Like, you are saying chips, chips, chips. Agree, and I'm very excited to go about with your this thing. I am very, activated now by listening to your talk. Like, is there any particular manual which chip we need to bang, which chip we need to close, which chip? I have no idea how many chips I'm gonna close.
Amreen, can you put it on the chat because I cannot hear, and I think APA India says that we need to ask questions at the end of the session. So what we'll do, there is no manual for this, Amreen. These are all my own theories because I believe every psychologist, I don't think we can go with a manual beyond a certain amount of time. So 25 years in this field, I have been able to create my own blueprint, my own theory, which I've also been validating with my clients globally. And these chips are nothing but these triggers which are implanted right from the conception or even before that. I'm also into parapsychology, psychology, birth imprints, womb trauma, birth trauma, you name it, hypnotherapy, you name it. I've kind of every Saturday, Sunday, I'm learning new things because I personally feel if you need to help somebody, it cannot be only from one point of view. It has to be multiple interventions have to be there to be able to help people holistically. That is what I believe. Okay. All right. Everyone, please mute yourselves. I would ask the admin to mute everyone so that we can continue. All right. Thank you so much, Rajalaxmi. So, okay, going forward, what I would like to say is that when we talk about suicide, we are talking about depression, we're talking about anxiety, we're talking about anger, sadness, grief. We're talking about a missed opportunity in love. We're talking about a whole bouquet of emotions which we pick up in our hands and put it aside and take that step. I repeat, it is not that they want to die, it is that they do not know how to live with these problems. Depression does not have any one reason, it's a whole lot of things which create one particular ball which is like completely wired and you can't completely entangle. So you will not have any one reason for it. You won't have any one reason. Jayalakshmi, can you please mute yourself? APA India, could you please mute the participant so that I can continue? Admin? Krishna Bharat Garu, are you there?
Yeah, madam. Yeah, madam.
Or you'll have to mute so that because otherwise, I don't know if people can hear what I'm saying because I can
Okay.
hear some people
Okay, madam.
talking and conversing at home with their spouses and all. So, okay. Okay, I'm continuing now. For those of you who would like to understand how to help people who are actively or passively suicidal, there are good courses like on gatekeepers of suicide by Nimhans India. You also have other people who are offering these courses, gatekeepers as they call it. You can take that course to know how to identify people who are on the verge of doing it, how to help them during that time, how to. I do not believe in distraction. I believe in acknowledging and diverting. I don't believe in avoiding and distracting. That doesn't help according to me. Like you can't repress it. Whatever is repressed will come out with 100 times more intensity. Like if I said, don't look at that particular photo, then you'll be looking from the side of your eyes. But if I say that's the photo, don't look at it, but you might even look here for 5 minutes. So acknowledge and divert. That's a better way, according to me, than avoiding and repressing. Oh, that's bad. I should not think about it. I don't think there's anything bad. It all depends on how, like some people, they talk about controlling mobile addiction, controlling pornography, controlling this, controlling that. I think control is a very negative word. It puts a lot of pressure on you. Do you agree with me? Control is a negative word. It's a very heavy word. How many of you agree with me?
We
Raise
do
your
it.
hand if you agree with me. So control is a very negative word. A better way is to regulate it. Regulate it. So if your child is watching, mobile for like 4 hours and I think you don't try to control and blackmail and threaten, I'll not pay your fees, I'll send you to this place. That's not the way to do it. Tell the child to watch for 1 hour or, in between staggered timings, but you cannot try to be very bossy or try to control them like a dominant submissive connection. That will not work because nobody wants to take orders. Nobody wants to take orders in today's generation. They're like, "अरे आप क्या बताएंगे मेरे को? मेरी मर्जी है. I'll do what I want." So it is easy for us to regulate it, to request. Even if they're children, we have no right to, force our opinions on them. You have to do science only. You have to become doctor only. My grandfather was doctor. You also take his name forward. I think that's silly. If the grandfather was doctor, good enough. But that doesn't mean your child has to take that name also as a profession also. I think the bigger thing is to regulate within the families to stop the active suicidal ideations more than going out and going to other people. हर घर में ये होना चाहिए. Okay, हर घर में जो है वी शुड बिकम द गेट कीपर सो दैट वी रेज ऑथेंटिक पीपल. अगर वाइफ को खाना नहीं बनाना है तो शी शुड बी एबल टू से सुनो आज दही चावल खाते हैं या फिर तुम कुछ बना दो या फिर बाहर से लाते हैं, इंस्टेड ऑफ cursing the grandfathers in-laws and then making and putting throwing on the table, right? I think we should be authentic. और जब तक घर में हम ऑथेंटिक नहीं बनेंगे, हर घर में लूप होल्स रहेंगे, हर घर में it will be a chaos. The third party will come in. Third party can be through third party, a third partner. I talk about extramarital affair, or your child having some other girlfriend, boyfriend, or somebody, some uncle giving advice, leave the house, run away. Like I've had some people who come and tell me that my uncle said to leave the house and go because my father is bullying me. I said, why did you go and tell your uncle? My dad doesn't listen to me. Your uncle will help you. Uncle has given the wrong advice to run away. So if अगर आप अपने घर में चीजें जाने देंगे तो there'll be third party, anybody who will come and give advice to your family members, leave your husband, leave your parents. The problem is in every home. It is not Modi ji's problem. It is not Modi ji's problem, according to me, if we take care of our homes and be authentic so that the husband and wife and the children and the grandparents learn to be authentic, talk with assertiveness, like today I'll make only one sabzi, or today I can't take you for a movie, or today we can't go there, or let's do it, and let's not buy this, or okay, do that, but get a good job if you want to become an artist or a singer. I think we need to be more authentic and not be worried about a good name or a bad name. तो आपके लिए जो गुड है मेरे लिए बैड हो सकता है वो, right? What is good for you can be bad for me. So can we go by good and bad? I don't think there's anything good and bad. It depends on perceptions, totally. And the other thing, if you have to live in today's world, you will have to come out from attachments and getting attached to good, bad, and ugly. Somebody praised you, you'll be thinking they praised me. I got the award. I got the certificate. I'm certified. I'm a psychologist. I'm a doctor. I'm a banker. But I think that it is not who you are, but who you are becoming. जैसे आप आज हैं, कल क्या बन रहे हैं, परसों क्या बन रहे हैं, वो ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट. आपकी गाड़ी कहाँ जा रही है, वेयर आर यू हेडेड, दैट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट देन आप कौन से बस में बैठे. वेयर आर यू हेडेड, हाउ आर यू इवॉल्विंग. If you are not evolving, the people in your family are watching you. If you have got a poverty mindset or a scarcity mindset, if you say कि नहीं we can only buy one shirt in 1 year, और हमारे पास पैसे नहीं है, तो then if your child takes a very low paying job, you cannot scold him because ये learning आपने सिखाया है. Why are some people rich? Why are some people not able to come out of those shackles? It is all about mindset. It's all about mindset. और सब कुछ घर में ही शुरू होता है. Abuse, neglect, love, sadness, grief, everything starts from home. Every single thing. पहले घर में होता है, फिर बाहर होता है. And then जब तक we want to raise good people, codependency will always be a worldwide problem. I think we should be authentic. If you go to somebody's house and let me ask somebody in the audience here. पार्थसारथी जी, अगर मैं आपको कॉफी टी ऑफर करती हूँ, लेट मी से आई एम ऑफरिंग यू कॉफी और टी ऑन अ ट्रे, क्या करेंगे आप? इस ट्रे में कॉफी एंड टी दोनों है, क्या करेंगे आप? अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ.
I'll take tea.
But what if you don't want both?
Then I have to tell I do not drink tea or coffee.
Can you say that?
Yeah,
Without feeling that I'm going to feel bad?
yeah.
Very
I
good.
must say.
Everyone clap for Mr. Parsarthi because he is very evolved. लेकिन ये बोलने का, ये आपको तब नहीं बोलना है जब होस्टेस बना के लेके आएंगी. आप जब घर जाते हैं वो उठ रही हैं तभी बोलना है कि बैठिए मैं चाय और कॉफी नहीं पीऊंगा, मेरे लिए पानी लाइए, या
Yes,
मैं घर
madam.
से अपना वो लाया हूँ.
Yes, yes, yes,
You should not wait till she gets it and then say no,
yes. That is
right?
correct. That is correct.
So how many of you are not able to refuse the coffee and tea wherever you go because they will feel bad? Raise your hands. Come on, let's see. Put it on the chat. How many of you? How many of you can say no when you go out? They'll feel bad, right? If you go to somebody's house, Inka tinandi, nalgu puril tinandi, padi puril tinandi, eat it, eat it, eat it. Then can you say no? They'll feel bad. They're giving with love. Pyar se de rahe, pyar se. Can you say no? So somebody here was saying pyar se karna chahiye. I forgot her name. I think Kalyani, Rajeshwari, one of them. I don't know who it was. But प्यार से ज्यादा प्यार हो जाता है ना तो भी प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है. Anything extremes is not helpful. If love is very strong, it becomes an attachment. लव एक इमोशन है और रिलेशनशिप जो है वो लव एक नाउन है और रिलेशनशिप एक वर्ब है. रिलेशनशिप में सुबह उठना है, यू हैव टू गो टू वर्क, कचरा निकालना है, खाना बनाना है, झगड़ा करना है, वो सब रिलेशनशिप में होता है, नॉट इन लव. लव इज एन इमोशन. लव इज जस्ट अ फीलिंग. एंड जिससे आपको प्यार है उनके साथ रिश्ता हो जरूरी नहीं है. इज इट अ बैड थिंग? आई डोंट थिंक सो. You can love 10 people, but don't try to be in a relationship with them. That will be a different thing altogether. But I think love is an emotion, and relationship is definitely conditional, and love is it's free flowing. So what is a congestion? Relationship. बीमारियां कहाँ से आती है? Relationship से. झगड़ा कहाँ होता है? BP वगैरह कहाँ आता है? Relationship से. Love से नहीं आता. I don't think anybody can hurt with love. What is hurting is their relationships. Who agrees with me? Who thinks it's a new thought? Who thinks it's a new thought? क्या आपने पहले सुना
Ma'am,
है ये?
relationship mixes with love, then the headache, heart attack, BP, everything comes. No, ma'am. Two things join together:
What fixes the love? No,
relationship
see,
and love.
according to see, when you love somebody, you should love in a point where they feel free. If you cook, it's okay. If you don't cook, it's okay. You take me to a movie, it's okay. You don't take me to a movie, it's okay. How many people can live like that? ऐसे कितने लोग जी सकते हैं बताइए?
It's like simple as that. If you love flowers, you let the flower grow on tree or plant. You won't pluck it. If you're
Absolutely.
plucking it, again, it's a relationship you're not having demand for it.
ये दुनिया में जितने भी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं इसलिए हैं बिकॉज वी डू नॉट नो लव एंड रिलेशनशिप आर टू डिफरेंट थिंग्स. दे आर नॉट द सेम थिंग्स. एंड हर घर में जो है 2 people आर वर्किंग एंड 2 people आर रिलैक्सिंग. 2 लोग टीवी देख के बैठे रहते हैं और 2 लोग ही काम कर रहे होते हैं. Every home has got that problem. Not all the people, all the members work in families. And because of this unequal distribution of chores, a lot of anger, depression, sadness, and pain, and I would say frustration. And eventually you keep going down, 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 depression. And there comes a point when, in that weak moment, like for example, we saw a case of a lady, husband said, "Ye kya banaya? Namak zyada hai." She went in, closed the door, and she hung herself to a fan and took her life. Then everybody was saying कि salt के वजह से उन्होंने किया है. आपको लगता है salt के वजह से किया होगा उन्होंने? Do you think that salt would have caused that death? Do you think
No,
it's a salt?
no.
Then what do you think it is?
Maybe she
Love,
had a
freedom, suffocation, relationship, the kind of relationship they were in.
It's not one person. The entire chain from the childhood to now, and they say that's it, and that salt becomes the culprit and the villain. It's not
Madam,
one reason why they would want to do it. It's impulsive. It can be impulsive. Yes, kahiye.
if we go to bank or some government office, we see that very few people are working effectively. They
Yes.
are only overburdened. And when we go, we meet them only. So they are still getting overburdened.
Yes.
It happened.
हाँ, ये हर ऑफिस में है, हर घर में है. It's everywhere. और ये तब तक होगा जब तक equal division of responsibility it does not happen. But we are failing because everybody has got chips installed ना. हर घर में एक बच्चे को छूट मिलता है और एक बच्चा काम करता रहता है. एक बच्चा कोडिपेंडेंट, एक बच्चा नार्सिसिस्ट. Like I am this, I get 90%, so I'll not work. You get 60%, so you will do the work. The children who argue like that, oh, I'm a star of the school. ये सब काम मैं नहीं करता हूँ सब्जी वगैरह काटना. You do it. तुम्हें 60% आता है तुम करो. And parents don't know what to do. Then these children grow up. One is entitled. Oh, I'm the king. And the other child feels कि अरे मेरे साथ कुछ बुरा हो रहा है. I have low self-esteem. Wherever I go, I'm bullied. I'm doing things. I want to say no. I can't say no. तो आई थिंक घर में होता है बोलो तो बोलने वाला बुरा. घर में होता है बोलो तो बोलने वाला बुरा होगा. हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल ठीक कहा मुमताज. दुनिया में वी कैन टॉक अबाउट एवरीबडी, इन लॉज, हस्बैंड, ये, बट यू कैन नॉट टॉक अबाउट योर पेरेंट्स इन इंडिया. दे कॉल अनग्रेटफुल पीपल. You talk about your parents, they gave birth to you, they paid your fees, they kept you in the house. You cannot talk about your parents. बहुत गंदी तरह से देखते हैं, like how dare you talk about your parents. But the thing is कि आप उनको blame नहीं कर रहे. You're just saying how you landed up here in therapist's office, why you have problems in your life because their parents and it's a generational trauma. तो आप लोगों को इस सेशन में एक ही चीज का प्रण लेना है कि ये जो भी generational चीज है, it should end with us. You should not pass it on to the next generation. How many of you can work with me on that? It's my vision to ensure that this particular, whatever lot we have got from our ancestral lineage, it ends with us. All the pain, all the anguish, all the sadness, all the negativity, negative belief system, the limiting belief system, jo bhi we have been given or gifted or borrowed or bought, it has to end with us. Only then can we make sure the next generations, they can actually breathe and live and not just be on survival mode. If I ask you, how many of us are living in survival mode even now? Like you're educated, you've got a job, you're married, you're in a relationship, you've got everything, सब कुछ है, गाड़ी, कार, लेकिन फिर भी अगर आप survival mode में हैं, day to day, fight, flight, dorsal vagal, like you get tired, depression, co-op, fight, flight, anxiety, depression. Then फिर खुलकर आप जिएंगे कब? Ventral vagal, which is the front, rest and digest. All the illnesses you see, whether diabetes, thyroid, it's सारी चीजें is because of congestion. It's because of congestion. Because you are blocking your own growth. Because you, with the limiting belief system, the negativity, the passed on things, right? Then that means that you have to come out of it. It's not going to be easy. It is simple but not easy. But that's what I believe is the actual responsibility. More than the education, more than your job and what, if we each of us take responsibility to help ourselves come out of whatever negativity we have and rise, elevate. So I'll tell you one thing. Breathing जो है, it's a vertical concept, right? जब आप सांस लेते हैं तो it's vertical और horizontal. कहिए. आपने देखा होगा in hospital if they show horizontal मतलब क्या बोलते हैं? I'm sorry sir, the person is gone, right? So breathing is a vertical. You breathe, take it to your abdomen and breathe out from your mouth. Breathe from the nose, abdomen, it will distend and come out from your mouth. But if you are in fight flight, it will be a shallow chest ऊपर होगा. And most people do shallow breathing because they are in fight flight. खाना बनाना है, यहाँ जाना है, वहाँ जाना है. But if you ask me, these are very normal things. Menopause normal है, menstruation normal है, childbirth normal है. ये जितने भी चीजें हैं, they're all normal. Whether you call it divorce, you call it anything, they're all normal things in life. It doesn't happen to everybody, but किसी के साथ हुआ है, तो हुआ है. Things like cancer, things like illnesses or जो भी चीजें, it happens. You do not know. Like we don't have the complete blueprint, like what is going to happen. So when these things happen, which is sudden, there is drama, there is isolation, and no plan. It will push people into anxiety, depression, and gradually it can lead to passive suicidal thoughts. And if people are not able to help them or they are not able to receive it, their receptive, the receptors are shut. Like if you're telling them something, but they shut off, that's what happens in survival mode. Like this, I can't listen to anybody. Then in the weak moment, they will take that step. And because I'm in parapsychology and spirit communication and all, I do have other validations to say that most of them regret, unless they've been very ill or anything, they regret taking that step. Some people do it out of curiosity to know what is afterlife, because the books say when light will come, it will take you, your problems will go away. So do it for out of curiosity also. It's not always a problem. Like we saw a couple of years ago, engineering college mein, one particular leader, he took his life and 22 of them jumped of his followers because they wanted to see where he has gone. So they also went. So it's not one-way destination, right? So curiosity se bhi people take this step. It's not always because because of illness or a problem. ऐसे भी cases देखे हैं हमने, to know what happens after death. Some people have done that, or watching some TV serial, Shaktiman is flying. Some children have gone and jumped from there because of curiosity, right? So, according to me, if we should be responsible to take care of the mental and physical health and also have mind, body, and soul. Is anybody asking a question? Yeah, I think Vajra, would you kindly can you mute yourself? Yeah.
Ma'am, can I
It
speak?
is, see, survival mode is basically, see, when you are in ventral vagal, which is the front, you're more social, you're going to work happily, you're happily connected to your family, you stop by, smell the flowers, you're tasting the food, all your five senses are working, you just don't eat an autopilot. 95% subconscious, 5% is your conscious, left brain is 5%, right brain is 95%. The body follows the subconscious mind, which is the old programming. And they will see if how your parents have handled their own challenges. If the mother has been saying एलिपोतानु चचपोतानु मर जाऊंगी रहूंगी नहीं, तो देन बच्चा सोचेगा मरना क्या होता है. Then अभी तो आजकल गूगल है, यूट्यूब भी है, they will see अच्छा मरना भी ऑप्शन है क्या. It's like if you're hungry, you'll swiggy, you will cook, you'll drink water or have a fight. So this also becomes an option. The death urge or thanatos, what they call it according to Freud, that also becomes an option when you're going through challenges. So in ventral vagal, the front side, you are being led by the parasympathetic nervous system. Rest and digest. Khana hazam ho raha hai, you're peaceful, you're cheerful. There is no workload, even though you're overworking. You're happy, you're cheerful. Then there is some problem which is repetitive. You're not finding any solution. So you are in fight flight. And all of your limbic system will tell the amygdala to fire norepinephrine, adrenaline, and cortisol to save yourself. अगर आपके सामने कोई डाकू आया तो भाग कुछ तो करेंगे ना, lion tiger आया तो that time your hands and legs will run as fast as you can in your life because blood is being pumped to your hands and legs. But if you have a father or a boss or a parent or a wife or husband who is actually creating hell for you at home, then you're in fight or flight. I will do this to him, I will give, I will divorce, I'll go here, I'll go that, but you're not doing it. You're not doing anything to help yourself apart from thinking. Then that fight and flight with excess energy will create panic attacks, panic disorders, it will create BP, it will create thyroid, it will create all kinds of body pain, arthritis, you call it. Each illness has got a reason for it. I'm also into metaphysics. So each illness has got a reason for it. Diabetes because of not having a sweet life. Thyroid because you're not standing up for yourself. Arthritis because of trapped anger, resentment. Even cancer is the same thing. Kidneys is because you store fear in kidneys, and liver, you store your anger. So anybody with fatty liver, anybody with liver issues, because you're storing a lot of anger in that. I think everybody has been passively suicidal. At least एक बार तो सोचा होगा कि बस अब it's better to die, right? Do you all agree with me? कि सबने एक बार तो सोचा होगा. At least once वो thought तो आया होगा कि this is not how I want to live. This is like इससे तो अच्छा मरना better है, right? So I would like to ask, I ask my clients, people who come to me, like आपको क्या लगता है उधर कोई रेड कारपेट में कोई वेट कर रहा है, एक आलिशान बंगला कि वहां जाके आपके प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होंगे. The only thing which you drop is your body. Everything goes as the mind, everything soul, it just goes along with that. We are all born here with a life mission. Every soul has got a mission why it is born, including people selling flowers and tea. Every soul has got a mission. To accomplish that mission, it requires the body and the mind. But when the mind and body are on absolute conflicting things, then the soul feels कि मुझे मेरा life purpose होता हुआ दिख नहीं रहा है. अगर आप देखिए photographs on social media, some people will have vacant look in their eyes. Vacant. You feel कि अंदर कोई है ही नहीं उस इंसान के अंदर. They're alive, but very vacant look. The eyes are the window to your soul, right? So some people, if you see that the eyes are shining, but the soul is healthy. But if your eyes are dull, the soul is very tired and because the interaction between the mind and body harass कर रहे हैं soul को, right? So it is a good idea from home to be authentic, to be able to allow the family members to talk about what is bothering them without trying to find a solution or motivating them. अगर बच्चा बोल रहा है मेरे से साइंस प्रॉब्लम्स नहीं हो रहा है, तो you should not say कि I will bring 10 teachers कि do that exam. Allow the child to take a drop year if he is not able to do it. It is better than having your child do something which you do not want him or her to do. Do you agree with me? Yes, Kalyani, I am also into parapsychology and spirit sciences. Okay, so I have been communicating with people across. I hope all of people, you're not scared here, but yes, parapsychology is one of my very favorite areas, and we have been able to speak with a lot of people who have crossed over. Okay, and as per my theory, we also have come to an understanding that we all have a soul group, and you choose your lessons and whatever you're going to go through. Okay, and then you're born, but actually we forget about our thing. We choose your parents, spouse, children, everything, boss, neighbor, maid, servant, everything we choose. We're on the same soul group. So then whatever challenges we are facing, we have signed up for it, and that means you have to go through with it. Like Shirdi Sai says, if you don't go through with it, next birth will be even more tougher lessons than this one. So instead of feeling bad and you're a bad person pressing my buttons, आपको ये देखना है कि ये buttons हैं ही क्यों, कहाँ से आया, and how can I deactivate it, right? If you're getting angry, upset, somebody is able to offend you, then keep a journal. Today they said this and I felt bad. What are the emotions coming from me? Anger, sadness, I want to beat him. Then write all that and then deactivate it. How can you deactivate it? By finding out who first made you feel that way. Ho'oponopono is a good technique. Ho'oponopono, you would have heard of it. Ho'oponopono is good. There are binaural beats, and there are a lot of meditations available. There are you can actually do like we have many techniques to diffuse these things. And when you learn to work on yourself, when these chips start deactivating, you will go higher into the higher chakras. Number 4 and above, when you feel unconditional love. If I ask you a question, if you go to Kashmir with all the snow peaks, close your eyes, imagine you're in Kashmir. Can you hate anybody there? In that beautiful sight where the snow peaks are touching the sky, you feel that oneness with everybody here, right? Everybody, living, non-living. I don't think you can hate anybody in that view. But the moment you come back home, it'll all come back. People say, the moment I come back from holiday, why do I get back to my original self? Because in that moment, you're operating from your 4th chakra upward. It's a spirit. Bottom is your body, the lower 3 chakras, and 4th chakra onwards is spirit. So you are in oneness, alignment. And to be able to acknowledge and divert. Acknowledge and divert, absolutely. I do not believe in distracting by avoiding, because repression will give you 100. Supposing you tell your child, give me your phone, you're watching pornography in the washroom. Then he will give you the phone, but he will take from his friend. He will come home half an hour late. He or she. What did you achieve? What did you achieve, dear parents and grandparents? आप control से कुछ भी achieve नहीं कर पाएंगे. I do not think control, like I was called to a live debate last month where all people, psychiatrists, BRS members, all there in that TV live debate. And the doctor was saying that, should control internet, should control all this. I said, I'm sorry, but that's not true. The moment the husband will control the wife, she will control him, mother-in-law will control the child, wahin pe wo family khatam ho gaya. Then we'll have third party interventions who will say, come to me, I will help you. Take a drink, cigarette piyo, yahan jao, bar mein jao, get a girlfriend, get a lover. I don't think you should allow third party to enter as far as possible unless it is very, very necessary. I think if we are all eligible to get into a relationship, get married and have children, then we should have the bandwidth to also navigate through whatever challenges or roadblocks that come up. The moment we hit the roadblock, we panic. And then we start motivating people, motivation. I don't think motivation can help with problems. It can only, help you align yourself and do things which are not problems. I don't think education is a problem till you choose a stream that you don't want. Like you want to become a painter, but Pitaji ne dal diya engineering mein. Then that's a problem. So do you believe that we have it in us to deactivate the chips that are implanted during our childhood, so that we are all able to have fulfilling marriages, we're able to have fulfilling relationships at work, we're able to have fulfilling connections with our staff members, with the neighbors, without getting personal. Which means, dear members, that we need to have very many connections but very few relations. Did anybody understand the meaning of this? You need to have very many connections but very few relations. What does it mean? Who will tell me?
Relationships are one thing that we hold them. Either, uh, as you said, it is a love and commitment with them, but we can be like in connection with many, many people, but that relationship, that pinch of it can be felt, and I think it can be experienced only with few.
No, actually, you can have as many lovers and as many. That's not the thing. See, a connection is general. So you meet somebody, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. That's a connection. You meet, you go out. You don't talk about, are you having fights at home, or what is your salary? I heard you were kicked out of your job. We don't talk all that with connections, right? We don't go with our problems to them.
Correct.
You just have a superficial connection. You just go out, watch a movie, and come back. You don't talk about your problems at that time. You don't.
True.
And the day we understand that, if we have to, they say introversion is bad. I'm an introvert, but I can be an ambivert when I want to. I can be an extrovert when I want to. I do not think introversion is a problem. I think introverts are very creative people. I am also one of them. I have a host number of hobbies that I do. There is a, introversion, shyness, and social anxiety are three different things. Introversion, shyness, and social anxiety are three different things. So shyness cannot be called introversion and social anxiety. You can overcome shyness. Introversion is not like you won't talk to. Introversion is not like you'll talk to everybody. You will choose whom you want to talk to. But that's not bad too. So for introverts here in this meeting, I would say that the reason why you may not go to talk is, again, you may not have a boundary. You may think, if I go and say, how are you? I have to ask, what did you cook? I have to ask, how many children do you have? I have to ask how much marks they got. But no, you can just go have a small talk. How are you? Fine, and then come back. How many of you find it difficult to have a small talk? How many of you feel that you have to talk to them for a longer amount of time, which you're not prepared for, so you avoid talking to people? How many of you feel that? Anybody here who feels that way, that you cannot make small talk? Small talk is boring. I would have deep, meaningful talks with people, or else boring for me. How many of you feel that way? Let's see. Anybody here?
There are many people, like, initially they start talking to me thinking that I'm very excited and I have many things to share. Well, when they start talking to me, I cannot match up to their energy. I cannot give whatever they are expecting from me, because एक लड़के का नाम ले लो, लेकिन वो लड़का मेरे से बात करेगा, उसको मेरे को देख के उसको बात करना अच्छा लगेगा. The moment he started talking to me, then he start expecting things from me. If I cannot,